Take control. Stop overthinking and master your mind. Are you ever going through the same thoughts over and over again because you think too much? What if you could break out of that cycle? What if you could direct your mind instead of letting it direct you? I'll show you useful, simple ways to stop overthinking and take control of your mind in this movie. Are you ready to get a better, calmer mind? The mind is a terrible master, but a great servant. We all occasionally overthink significant events or decisions. For some of us, this can go to such extremes that it truly begins to disrupt our existence. Playing repeats of the same movie over and over again in our thoughts, or envisioning the worst conceivable scenarios of things about to come, it can keep us up for hours late. Even the inclination to overanalyze everything might cause us to veer dangerously into worry and sadness. It is like redlining the engine of a car with the parking brake pulled, while the front wheels simply spin in place. You get nowhere even though you burn out, spewing a lot of smoke. Overanalyzing every tiny detail of a problem until we are so far gone that we are unable to act is effectively trapping us in our own head. It becomes what is known as paralysis by analysis when it gets too severe. The two faces of examining everything. As you may already know, overanalyzing frequently consists in two distinct but equally negative thought patterns. The first is moping about the past, continually rehashing ideas like, I should have closed my mouth at lunch today. Everyone now believes I'm a stupid. I wish I'd never left my hometown. I could have been so much happier there, says. If only I had the bravery to tell her how I really feel, everything could have been so much different. These are simply a few simple, revisiting the past exercises that could cause mental disturbance and propel us into a never-ending cycle of what-ifs and could-have-beens. Constant future concern is the opposite kind of overanalyzing. It sometimes spirals out of hand with apocalyptic forecasts of events still to come. I will never reach this date. I'll just never be good enough. I'm going to lose my work and end homeless. I will end up alone and sad. My wife is going to find someone a lot better than me, and tomorrow's presentation is going to be a fiasco, and everyone will think I'm a fraud. This is only a taste of the probable catastrophe and sadness we could create from letting our imagination go wild. One of the surest ways to sap all the happiness in life is simply overthinking. It forces us to examine events we would have just enjoyed otherwise, if only we knew how to stop and scent the roses every once in a bit. On the one hand, demolishing anything good into oblivion can only drive the happiness away, and even make us start seeing problems where they hardly exist. Conversely, when we overanalyze real-life issues, they seem more threatening and larger than they actually are. This can readily send us into a vicious cycle of avoidance that pulls us more into a quagmire of anxiety and hopelessness. So, first of all, which news, the positive or the negative, you most want? How can we develop out of overanalyzing behavior? If you find yourself a chronic overthinker, you already know that turning off your mind is far simpler said than done. Nevertheless, there are certain things we can do to calm our thoughts and stop the loop of non-stop talking within our head, regardless of how hard it may be. Become conscious and identify when your thoughts are beginning to spiral out of control in order to start beating overthinking. Hit the brakes for a second and admit that the road you are going to travel leads nowhere when you find yourself caught repeatedly rehearsing the same event in your thoughts, or starting to worry about something entirely under your control. You can break out from it and return to Earth before the tornado of ideas drags you away by a simple pause and awareness. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We are inundated with news and information from all sides in this day of social media, and occasionally it seems as though the great bulk of it is negative. Whether we see it or not, this shapes our perspective and helps our mind to spot and concentrate on every flaw in life. Though there are certainly problems in the world, it is also full of equal, if not more, lovely and pleasant things. Now, this does not mean you should overlook the possible risks of a given scenario, or that you should reject totally the debilitating elements when confronted with a difficult option. Get ready for what could go wrong. Then, let the ideas about it rest and focus your mind and efforts toward what could go right. Accepting the supporting elements and looking forward a good result can help you to stop your mind from running wild and lessen your future worries. Consider the whole picture. Minor elements in life can easily cause one to lose sight of the whole picture. This is why one should always consider things from several angles. When we obsess over things for too long, they often seem larger, more frightening, and far more significant than they really are. Really question yourself. Will this matter 5 years down the road? When you find it could not even matter a week from now, you could be shocked. Changing your viewpoint to a new time period will help you nip your overthinking in the bud and aid to lessen the seeming importance of a certain scenario. Keep it basic. When we overanalyze a decision, we often add complication to complexity by evaluating far too many variables, usually without regard to the actual significance of everyone. Once we have added more variables than we could reasonably manage, we often turn to abstractions that will eventually help us to separate from any practical reality. Thinking too abstract when deciding will just waste your time, distort your judgment, and raise your chances of making a bad choice. Personal synthesis, the all-natural manual for personal growth. Allow go of perfection. There is no reason that something should be flawless. It is never going to be. There never will be an ideal moment to launch a business, ask your crush out, or start working out and getting in shape. This also applies to us, often stemming from a worry that we are not good enough, that we lack the intelligence or determination to reach something, overthinking and perfection-oriented behavior. Accept your finest and treat yourself somewhat differently. Whenever you can, give your all, but then realize that nobody is flawless and that you have done all you could. Ignite your fears, not feed them. An old Native American narrative exists about two wolves living in our souls. Representing the inner battles we all go through over life, the two wolves are in an endless fight. One wolf stands in for evil, darkness, fear, and hopelessness. The other one stands for happiness, love, compassion, calm, and tranquility. Which wolf will emerge triumphant? That is the age-old mystery. The reply is the one you feed. When we allow our mind free with everything that might go wrong in life, the list is unbounded. In all fact, however, most of the worst things we may conceive are most likely not going to happen. Plan a specific moment to let your ideas fly free. Really read that right. Schedule time in the day to allow your thoughts wander. Let them shred for 10 to 30 minutes. Let your thoughts take you any place. When the time to go ballistic passes, continue with your day. This may seem counterintuitive and like opening a Pandora's box you can't close, but it can be a good way to blow off steam and get rid of overthinking for the day. Do not trust everything you think. Separating your ideas from your beliefs is one of the most crucial things to help you avoid obsessing too much. Everybody has a lot of ideas during the day. Usually driven by our subconscious programming, they might come and go without much reason. Subscribe to the Hour channel to help you develop in many other spheres of your life, as well as in your own thinking and relating to yourself.